So it's 9:30.
Yeah, should we start, Uncle?
Yes.
Okay.
Is there
take the
something?
session.
Is there something which shows how many people?
Yeah, you can see from the participants. So far, I see 29.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I'd like to introduce.
Yeah. So because it's going to be lots of Chinese people, and it's going to be translated, I'll just, like before, just talk and then wait for the translation.
因为有很多中国的瑜伽士，所以今天会有中文的翻译。
So, welcome everybody.
欢迎大家。
My name is Derek Ferguson, but my nickname is Fergy.
我的名字是 Derek Ferguson。我的小名叫我的昵称叫Uncle, you say Derek Foggy, right?
No, Derek Ferguson, but as a shortened version of the name is Fergy, Fergy.
Okay. 大叔的名字叫Derek Ferguson。短的可以叫他Derek Fergie。
That's what Shimataji used to call me.
徐马太吉叫我这个短一点的名字。
So, if we're going to start the session, we can all collectively bow to whichever photograph you have, and then we will collectively raise our kundalini and tie up and banda.
我们一起来向徐马太吉的照片行礼鞠躬，然后我们一起来提升能量画班丹。
In the previous workshop we did, we got people to feel if they were in balance or not.
在以前我们做的活动里面，我们让大家感受能不能感觉到能量。
So we can, there's some techniques that we were shown, which you can enable you to find out if your right side or your left side is affected.
我们讲过一些方法检查自己是左边失衡还是右边失衡。
So we're going to start off with placing our hands out, and we'll start with placing the right hand towards the Mother Earth.
我们将右手朝向大地。
So that should be clear in the left side into the Mother Earth.
这个可以将我们右边的负能量通过大地元素吸收。
So if you've got a good memory or a notepad and can remember, we're going to do 4 different techniques, and then you try and remember which one made the vibrations within you flow more.
我们可以用不同的方式然后你们来检查哪种方法可以让你的能量流动更好。
Because we're all different.
因为我们大家都是不同的。
So next thing we can do is raise the right hand up in the air backwards.
第二件是我们可以做，是左手放在大腿上，掌心向上，右手指向天空。
Sometimes letting the heat go towards the ether for some people is better.
有时候将多余的热量通过天空元素被吸收，对有些人效果更好。
Next, we can put the right hand towards the photo and the left hand towards the ground.
下面我们可以将右手放在大腿上，朝向照片，左手指向大地。
Next, with the left hand towards the ether and the hand backwards.
现在将左手指向天空，手掌掌心朝后。
Then we can place both hands back down as normal.
现在我们可以将手放下，双手放到大腿上，掌心向上。
So because this is, I've been told, mainly Sajogis, then we can do some things different to what we normally do for the new people.
这个很多瑜伽师说，我们可以用这种方法，教新的求道者。
When I first came along, we used to have workshops in different Sajogis' houses.
我最开始进入沙哈加瑜伽的时候，我们会在瑜伽师的家里面来做这样的活动会议。
And one of the first things what was shown to us was we had one hand towards the photo and the left hand towards the photo and the right hand towards the Muladhara chakra. So we said the mantra to Sri Ganesha, and then we rotated the Muladhara chakra.
我们教给我们的方法之一是左手朝向照片，母亲的照片，右手在我们的穆纳达拉，进行给能量，画圈给能量。
And then something different. The leader at the time said to us, "Now raise the Muladhara."
当时的领导者告诉我们，现在提升根轮。
So after he said that, then I could feel the Muladhara starting to rotate.
他说完这个之后呢，我开始感觉到我的根轮开始我能感觉到根轮的旋转。Uncle,
Yeah.
how to raise?
No, that's what I'm saying. Just we won't do that. We'll just say the mantra to Sri Ganesha and ask for his blessings.
刚刚 Uncle 说的，他是说以前的一个经验，但是我们现在不会说到提升这个根轮。我刚才在问 Uncle 怎样提升，就只是在根轮上给能量画圈，然后说 Ganesha mantra。
Yeah, so to yourself, just say Sri Ganesha's mantra.
所以我们在心里面说 Ganesha mantra。
And just say, please awaken my Muladhara chakra.
说去 Ganesha，请唤醒我的根轮。
Next chakra, Swadhisthana, is
Yeah.
not on the chart. It shows that it rotates around the void.
第二个轮穴是腹轮，在我们的chakra chart 能量图里面没有显示腹轮是围绕着幻海旋转的。
I mean, it looks fixed, but it rotates, goes around the void.
看起来在轮穴图上看起来是固定的，但其实腹轮是围绕着幻海旋转的。
So we can say the mantra to Sri Saraswati Brahmadeva to awaken the Swadhisthana chakra.
所以我们可以说 Sri Saraswati Brahmadeva mantra 来唤醒我们的腹轮。
And also rotate the hand around.
同时让我们的手围绕着幻海 顺时针旋转，一边说 mantra 一边旋转。Uncle, we say inside our heart, right?
Yes, yes.
好，我们在心里面来说这个 mantra。
Next, we can put our hand on our Nabi chakra.
下面我们可以将我们的右手放在我们的脐轮上，
And we can ask Sri Lakshmi Vishnu to please awaken within us.
我们可以请求 Shri Lakshmi Vishnu，在我们的脐轮被唤醒。
Just to remind everybody that elbows and knees in the body are part of the Narbi chakra. So if when we're doing the workshop, you can feel anything happening, that's things clearing out.
提醒一下大家，我们的手肘和膝盖也是我们脐轮的一部分，所以在做这个活动的时候，如果你感觉到这些部位，有一些感觉的话，这是在清理。
So the next chakra is in the same area, which we call the void. And Adi Guru Dattatreya came mainly 10 times. So we can, rather than saying the names of all the 10 Adi Gurus, we can just say his name to ourselves for him to awaken the void.
下一个轮穴是我们的幻海，在我们脐轮的周围。这个幻海的神灵是阿迪 Guru Dattatreya。那他降世了10次。我们不用说这10个化身降世的名字，我们就说 Shri Adi Guru Dattatreya 的 mantra 就可以。
At the moment, there are lots of things happening in the world, which is affecting our center heart.
在当下，有世界上发生了很多事情，这个会影响到我们的心轮、中心轮。
And the deity in that chakra, Sri Durga, Sri Jagadamba, are having to constantly fight to help protect us.
这个轮穴的神灵 Shri Durga、Shri Jagadamba，需要不停的战斗来保护我们。
So if we can ask for their protection and for that center to be awakened, because that's where all the antibodies help fight off fear as well as any viruses.
如果我们可以请求许杜嘎、许贾格当巴的保护，那这个轮穴也是我抗体产生的地方，可以帮助抵御我们的畏惧感以及病毒。
I'll just tell a story for that chakra. When I was in Srimachi's house many years ago, there was somebody who was hitting another Sahaja yogi on the back of their center heart, from the back.
说到这个轮穴，我想讲一个故事。在须玛塔姐的家里面，有一次有一个瑜伽士用手去另外一个瑜伽士的中心轮，从背后。
And when she saw that, she told the Sahaja yogi to stop.
当他看到这个的时候，须玛塔姐要求那个瑜伽士不要这样做。
Because she said, in every chakra there's a deity, and in the center heart, if you beat on the chakra, then the deity, Sri Durga, will recede.
他说在每一个轮穴都有一个神明，如果你去敲打我们的中心轮，那么须都嘎就会从这个轮穴侧走。
Or you can say go to sleep.
或者你可以说会须都嘎会进入睡眠状态。
But I've noticed over the years, many people do it to themselves on their center heart by beating their center heart. And there's other people who are hitting on the back. So because it was a long time ago, not many people know Shimashi banned that practice.
这么多年我看到很多人用手去捶打自己的中心轮，或者有别人从背后去捶打他们的中心轮，因为这件事是很久以前的事情，所以很多人不知道须玛塔吉不让我们这样。
Many of these things we can write down later.
这些事情我们可以记录下来，在以后合适的时候。
Next chakra we're going to go to is the Vishuddhi.
下一个轮穴是我们的喉轮。
So it's got, as we know, many parts to it.
我们知道它有很多部分。
So we can say the mantra Sri Radha Krishna, but we can, while we're saying that, we can feel, if you move your hand up and down and try and find out whereabouts is your own Vishuddhi chakra, you may feel the vibrations being pulled in.
如果你移动你的手，上下移动你的手，去找你自己的喉轮，你可能会感觉到能量被拽进来。
Just rotate.
我们就围绕着喉轮来顺时针旋转，给能量。
Sri Krishna has got 16,000 powers, so if those get switched on, that would be very helpful.
Sri Krishna 有16000个能量，所以如果这些能量都被打开，将会非常的强大。
Many people who go to church or follow anything in particular, they feel lots of guilt, which affects the left Vishuddhi chakra, which is Sri Vishnu Maya.
许多去教堂的人，或者是别的有参与别的教会，会感到很多罪疚感，这就会堵塞我们的左喉轮。也是左喉轮的神灵是Sri Vishnu Maya。
and I'm not going to go through all of them, but the other part of the Vishuddhi is the Hamsa chakra.
我不会一一讲述在这个地方。另外一个部分的 Vishuddhi 喉轮是我们的 Hamsa chakra。
So what we're going to do is the wrists and the ankles are part of the Vishuddhi chakra.
我们的手腕和脚腕是我们喉轮的一部分。
So to help with the Vishuddhi, those we'll use oil later, but for now, if you just rub your hands together and your wrists.
为了帮助清理我们的喉轮，现在暂时不需要用油，我们后面会用油。现在只是搓一下我们的手，然后按摩一下我们的手腕，帮助清理我们的喉轮。
Just shake them off.
然后就甩一下手，将负能量甩走。
Also, on the neck, right and left side.
同时在我们的脖颈交接处，左边和右边按摩一下。
Then what we're going to do is we're going to take the 2 Vishuddhi fingers
现在
and go up and along the eyebrow.
现在我们用2个食指，也是我们的喉轮的手指，来按摩，从鼻子到我们的眉骨。
And when you go along your eyebrow, along the ridge, if you feel it tender or painful, it shouldn't be. And just massage it more.
如果这样做的时候，你感到某一个部位有紧张的感觉，或者是感觉疼，这个是不应该发生的，就多按摩一下在那个部位。
That will help the sinuses.
这个会帮助我们的sinuses 怎么翻？
Yeah, sinus is like, the inside of the.
会帮助我们鼻子的畅通。
One day when I was doing lots of workshops, I discovered when I was working on somebody, when they were catching on the Hamsa, I felt it on the tip of the Vishuddhi finger. So if I'm working on somebody and they have a Hamsa catch, I feel it and then I ask them, is your Hamsa catching? And they say yes.
有一天我做了很多的活动，然后有一个人他的 Hamsa catch 就是有堵塞了，然后呢我感觉到在我的手指尖我有感觉，所以以后每次我感觉到手指尖有感觉疼痛感或者是有不一样的感觉的时候，就会问他是不是 Hamsa 堵塞了，他会说是的。
But it's not in the mantra book.
但是这个没有在我们的口诀书里面。
Right. The other part of the Vishuddhi chakra is we have all the chakras in the head. So sometimes if you're sensitive, you can feel them.
我们有所有的轮穴在头上，我们头上有所有的轮穴。如果你足够敏感的话，你可以感觉到在你的头上。
So the Vishuddhi in the head, as we're working on the Vishuddhi, is just here. It's called Virata chakra.
所以喉轮在头上是我们发际的中央，这个轮穴又叫做 Virata chakra.
So if you take your right Vishuddhi finger, you can say the mantra Om Tameva Sakshat Sri Varata Chakra Sakshat Sri Mataji Sri Nimala Devi Namo Namaha, but you can also rotate that Varata chakra.
你可以将右手的食指，放在我们这个 Virata Chakra 上，然后顺时针按摩，说 Virata Shri Virata Mantra Om Tvameva Saksha Shri Virata Saksha Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nimana Devi Namo Namaha.
So the next one we're going to do is the Agya chakra. So as we know, this one comes up from the right, one comes up from the left.
我们下
Ego
面
super ego.
我们下面要清理的是我们的额轮。我们知道，额轮一个是从左边，一个是从右边。
So it's looked after by Lord Jesus Christ.
额轮是受基督保护。
So to help, we can say the mantra to ourselves, and afterwards we can do some head massage to help clear that center.
我们可以来清理这个轮穴，我们可以说 mantra，后面我们可以做头部的按摩来帮助清理这个轮穴。
They can do, because it's to do with China, we can do in your own time all three. So Buddha, Mahavira, and Lord Jesus.
我们可以一起说3个 mantra Buddha, Mahavira, Jesus.
And then you take your hands and push towards the Agya.
用我们的手从两边推向我们的额轮，中心额轮。
Before, and then we can finish with the last chakra. Just rotate Sahasrara chakra.
我们来顺时针按摩顶轮。
And just before I say the mantra, just put your right hand above your head and see if it feels, if it's any cooler from when you started.
在说口诀之前，我们就把右手放到顶轮上方，看看你是不是能够感觉到清凉的能量。
And then in your own time, just swap your hands.
然后交换另一只手。
So we can finish off by saying Sri Mataji's mantra, and then we'll continue with another workshop. This is just to finish off this part of the session.
我们来说Sri Mataji 的 mantra 来结束这一部分的冥想，然后我们会进入下一部分。
So for those who've brought any oil, this is going to be the next part of the session.
我们下一个 session 下一个部分呢是用油，所以那些准备好了油的，我们可以进入下一个 session。
So I've got some oil here, so I bought, and I use almond oil because you can use it in the hair as well as on the hands, but you can use coconut, olive, whatever you got. So we're going to do a session with some oil for those who've got some. For those who don't, it's fine. We'll do the workshop without the oil.
我用的是杏仁油，如果你也可以用椰子油对头部，或者是手部的话可以用橄榄油。如果你没有准备油也没有关系，我们就来做这一部分，不用油也可以。
So I've put the oil in my hand. I'm going to put it on my hands, rub in the wrists, and I'm going to put it into my hair, but it's for the scalp. So for those who don't have the oil is fine. Just massage your head and see if you find any tender spots, anywhere which is painful.
把油放到手上，然后按摩我们的头部，然后检查有没有哪一部分有紧张或者是疼痛的，可以多按摩一会儿。
On the back of the head, right in the center, there may or may not be a little lump.
在我们的头后边，是我们的后耳轮，你可能会有一个凸起出来，那是我们的后耳轮，有些人可能没有。
That's the Muladhara in the head, and it's called Mahaganesha.
那是我们的根轮在我们的头部，叫做 Mahaganesha， 是它的神灵。
And left side of the head and right side is Swadhisthana in the head.
在我们的就是后面的凸起那个是根轮，在这个根轮的两侧，是我们的Swadhisthana， 左边和右边。
So what happens is all the heat and stress and tension of the body comes up and sits in the head.
经常会发生的是，所有的热量会升到我们的头部，然后 在我们头部就被堵塞在这个地方，出不去。
So when we massage the head, that helps release that to come out.
当我们按摩头部的时候，就会帮助这些热量、负能量，从我们的头部出去。
Otherwise, people get lots of stress and tension building up and staying.
如果不按摩的话，我们会有很多的紧张感，然后出不去。
So if you see any of the earlier videos with Srimataji, she talked about us doing workshops with each other with head massage we had to do regularly.
如果你看了须玛塔吉早期的录像，你会看到他经常要求我们去做workshop，就是相互按摩头部的 workshop 会议。
So for those who afterwards, when you have time, the continuation of the workshop would be where you use any excess oil to put onto, there's two chakras. One on the left side here is one's called Sri Lalita, and on the other side, right hand side, it's called Sri Chakra.
下面你们可以有时间的时候呢，就是把用油去按摩我们两个肩头。在左边的肩头是我们的 Sri Lalita Chakra， 在我们的右肩头是我们的 Sri Chakra。
So they get blocked a lot.
这两个轮穴很容易被堵塞，经常被堵塞。
So when you're using the oil, if you cover, as well as the Vishuddhi, if you cover right down onto those points there, that will also help. One looks after the left side and one looks after the right side.
如果你将这两个轮穴，用衣服遮盖住，就是不要去暴露它，也会对这两个轮穴有帮助。
So as part of the same workshop, we're going to do some breathing exercises.
那现在我们会做一些呼吸练习。
So later on, I can send the link to some of these things. Some are on video, some are not. This breathing exercise is on the video. So we just take the thumb. We're gonna use these two fingers. We're gonna breathe in through the left nostril, hold it, our breath for a while, and then breathe out through the right nostril.
后面我会给大家发一些视频，我们用右手堵住我们的右边的鼻孔，然后用左边鼻孔呼气，然后屏住呼吸，然后再从右边呼出来，右边的鼻孔呼出来，
And then breathe in through the right nostril.
然后
Hold it.
从右边的鼻孔吸入，屏住呼吸，从左边的鼻孔呼出来。
And then breathe out through the left nostril. That will also help get everything flowing.
这也会帮助我们让各个部位开始 能量开始流动。
In Sahaj, many of the treatments have a long version and a short version.
在萨哈加瑜伽里面，很多的清理方法有长的，也有短的。
So, for example, if you have a problem with the agya, you can either say the Lord's Prayer, which is the long version, or Hum Shum.
比如要清理我们的额轮，我们可以说，神父的祈祷，这是长的 version， 然后也可以就简单的说 Hum Shum， 这是短的方式。
So, one day on the India tour in the 80s,
在1980年的一次印度的行程中，
Shamashi showed us how to work on ourselves using both hands.
须玛塔吉向我们展示了如何用我们两只手来进行清理。
So if you want to try, I know we've been up the chakras already, but this is just a different version of the same technique. What you do, you take your left hand and with your right finger, just write your name on your hand.
我们可以现在试一下，然后就左手打开，在你的左手上用右手食指写下你的名字，
And just give yourself a bandan.
然后给你自己画band单，也就是用右手在左手上顺时针。
So what we're going to do, we're going to work on each chakra again.
我们下面要做的是，我们会对每个轮穴来进行清理。
And this is just for you to feel if there's a difference in the different methods. So what we normally do is we take permission from Sri Bhumi Devi. We can say the mantra to her in your own time.
这个只是让你感觉一下会不会有没有什么对你有没有什么作用。那么我们通常做的呢是请求须布密 Devi。
So we're going to start with the Muladhara. So what we're going to do is rotate on the Muladhara chakra.
我们从根轮开始，然后右手在根轮手部的位置给能量。
And anything which is affecting that center, we take it and then we offer it and place it towards the Mother Earth rather than throwing it.
任何影响这个轮穴的负面能量，我们将它放到大地上，而不是扔给大地。
So we're asking the Mother Earth to accept it rather than just throwing it away.
我们请求大地母亲，接收我们的负能量，而不是就只是将这个负能量扔给我们大地母亲。
So after we do the Muladhara, everything's in your own time. Then we're going to do the Swadhisthana chakra.
根据你自己的情况，如果你感觉根轮清理好了，我们现在来清理腹轮，请求大地母亲接收我们的负能量。
In the Nabi.
然后是脐轮，
then the void,
然后是我们的幻海，
which is at the base of the fingers.
在我们手指的根部。
Then heart chakra,
然后我们的心轮，小
Where
手
Lord-
指，
where Lord Shiva, the spirit, resides.
这里是我们Lord Shiva 灵魂所在的地方。
In the Vishuddhi.
然后喉轮，
Okay.
额轮，
And then right in the center, the Sahasrara
Shoulder.
chakra.
手掌的中心是我们的顶轮。
And we can just hold the hand there and see if you feel anything happening.
我们就将手指停在这个地方，看看有没有感觉到什么。
You may or may not feel more vibrations coming out of your head or coming out of this point.
你有可能也有可能不会感觉到更多的能量从你的头顶出来，或者是从你的手心出来。
And then go around the whole hand.
然后围绕着整个手顺时针旋转，请大地母亲接收。
And finish off where you started.
然后我们重新做一下我们刚刚开始在左手掌上画能量，给能量。
One day, when I was in Srimachi's house in India, Pakistan,
一天我在须玛塔吉在 Pakistan 的家里面，
I bowed down to her
我向他行跪拜礼，
and she told me that I was bowing wrong.
他告诉我的跪拜礼是错误的，
Because I was bowing on my hair here. She said I should bow with my forehead on the marble tiles.
因为当时我的发际线贴着大地，他说我应该让我的额轮贴着大地。
And then when I held my hands out,
当我伸出我的手的时候，
she said that I should close the fingers and cup them slightly.
他说我应该将手指并拢，然后稍稍握起来一点。
Because she explained that there was another energy, which she called as the grace, which is all around, which comes and goes in through the Sahasrara.
他说那有另外一种能量，围绕着我们，然后进入到我们的顶轮和我们的手掌心，
which is different to the vibrations which come out of the Sahasrara.
与我们能量从我们的身体里面出来 是不一样的，从我们
So
身体里面出来的能量是不一样的。
So she said, if you keep your fingers open, this grace will go in between your fingers and you'll feel less vibrations.
他说，如果你将你的手指打开，那这个能量，它称为 grace， 我们中文可以叫祝福吧，就会从我们的手指间漏掉。
So if you close your fingers and your thumb and don't have them fully straight, but just slightly up a bit, then she said you would get more vibrations.
他说，如果你将所有的手指并拢，然后微微握起，你会感觉到更多的能量。
The other things we do on the workshops, if you're in the nature, is we work with the 5 elements. So earth, fire, air, water, ether. And they all have different deities, have a different name. So working with those elements can also help the subtle system.
另外一种我们在 workshop 里面经常做的是利用5大元素，大地、天空、火、水、空气，来帮助我们。
And listening to lots of tapes, you get to hear lots of new things which we haven't heard before.
我们听了很多母亲的讲话，你可能会看到很多一些新的方法，以前没有听说过。
So
Uncle, you mean Shumataji's talk?
yes.
Okay.
Especially when she's doing workshops or treatments.
特别是当他做清理的，做清理做 workshop 的那些讲话，你会学到很多新的方法。
So recently I watched the video and Srimashi was telling people to do Allahu Akbar, which we know is for Vishuddhi. But normally we put our fingers in our ears and we put our head back. On this particular video, she said, you should put your head forward.
最近我看了一个许玛塔吉的video，在这个 video 里面他提到阿拉霍巴，这个是用来清理我们的喉咙的。通常来讲，它会让我们用食指放到耳朵里面，然后将头往后仰去说阿拉霍巴乌呼阿克巴。但是在这个video 里面，许玛塔吉让我们把头低下来去说这个阿拉霍巴。
And so there are many things which we're learning all the time.
所以有很多东西，我们经常到现在还在学习，有新的东西出来。
But the main thing is we have to know how we are individually.
但是最重要的是，我们要知道我们自己。
So in the early days, Srimataji used to say to us, how do you feel? And many people who were unwell would say, I'm fine.
早期的时候，许玛塔吉会问，你感觉怎么样？然后有很多，有身体问题的人，他们会说 I am fine.
But the reason she was asking is to help the person.
但是他问的原因是要去帮助这些人。
Because when we were coming near her and the chakras are not okay, her chakras would start spinning more to help that person.
当我们靠近他的时候，如果我们的轮穴状态不好，那么他的轮穴 荨麻他吉的轮穴就会旋转，然后帮助清理我们。
And regularly, she would get us all to check each other.
经常他会把我们叫到一起，让我们来检查，相互检查我们的能量。
So the people would be in the room, and people you would get checked by somebody, and then somebody would check you.
所以，你会被某个人检查你会被别人检查你的能量，然后这个人也会被你检查他的能量。
But I hear that's not done so much now.
我听说现在大家不再这么做了。
Because in the 70s, we didn't used to have different clinics to go to.
在70年代的时候，我们没有，医生，我们没有。Uncle, you mean Vashi, right?
Yes, there has been other places also. We didn't have any of those places to go to. So Shimashi would tell us directly what to do so that we avoided needing to go to those places in the first place.
You mean the regular doctor place?
No, all the techniques Shimashi showed us was so that we kept well, so that we wouldn't get sick, so we wouldn't need to go to a hospital.
OK，大叔说，早期呢，我们没有很多地方，像我们现在可以去很多地方，所以荨麻太吉用这些方法，让我们保持我们的健康，所以我们不用去医院这些地方。
So if you were not well, then you would get sometimes a phone call and told some medicine to take.
所以如果你状态不好，有时候你可能会荨麻太吉会给你打电话，然后告诉你什么样的药你可以用。
Especially if you were in one of the ashrams.
特别如果你是住在ashram 里面的话。
And there's such a situation that sometimes you can have too many vibrations.
有时候你可能会有很多的能量，感觉到很多的能量。
So if you notice that if you watch some of the puja videos at the end, you see the Sajogis rubbing Shimashi's feet, trying to take the vibrations out.
所以如果你看一些普济的video，然后你可以看到很多人在普济之后呢，会按摩荨麻他吉的脚部，让多余的能量被拿出来，被清出来。
And that's because we, the Sajogis, never took the vibrations into ourselves.
这是因为我们瑜伽是不能将这些能量吸入我们体内。
So I'll just tell a story. One day, I was in one of the houses of Shrimataji, and I was doing some work for her, but we were working from 8 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock. And she'd said to me, we need to go to a meeting to get to, like, we were taking in too many vibrations.
我这里想讲一个故事。有一天我在荨麻他吉的家里面，工作，然后从早上8点工作到晚上8点，然后他告诉我们，我们必须要去做，新人的活动，因为我们吸收了太多的能量。
But before that, I could feel my body was getting swollen up.
在他说在我们做活动之前，我感觉到我的身体开始发肿。
Because it wasn't practical to go to the meeting, and she'd asked me to solve the problem, an idea came into my head. Go on.
因为当时我没有办法去参加给新人能量的活动，所以荨麻太吉说啊，我们要解决这个事情，所以我的脑子里面闪现一个念头。
So what we did was in the kitchen at breakfast time, we just put our hand towards each other. We were not checking vibrations. We were just allowing the vibrations to flow out towards each other.
所以我们在吃早饭之前，我们就把我们的手朝向彼此，然后我们并不是检查大家的能量，而是允许我们的能量从我们的身体里面流出来，流向大家。
So that simple thing solved the problem.
这个简单的方法解决了，我身体吸入太多能量这个问题。
So having lots of vibrations is fine, but if we don't use them, then they just stay static in the system.
有很多能量，是好事，但是如果我们不去用它，它就会在我们的身体里面处于一种静止状态，从而堵塞我们的系统。
So we could, yes, offer them to the nature.
所以我们可以将它释放到大自然中。
But the best thing is to learn to work on ourselves and others.
但是最好的方式是学会怎样，在我们身上运作和怎样给予他人帮助。
I understand there are many collectives where they don't work on each other, or they don't show the new people how to work on themselves or others.
我理解有很多的集体，不会不提倡大家，相互给能量，也不会去教新人怎样去相互给能量。
So it should be encouraged that if you're in a collective like that, then you reach out to other people who can help you.
所以，如果你在这样的集体，大家不交换能量的这样的集体，那我鼓励大家去接触其他的集体，然后他们有做交换能量这件事的这样的集体，然后
It's like riding a bike. First of all, you have to learn how to ride it first, and then you don't have to use it, but when it's necessary.
就好像骑自行车，首先你要学会怎样去骑自行车，所以当你需要的时候，你就会去骑。
So I spoke to somebody, and they were doing lots of treatments, and they were saying hundreds of mantras with no result.
我跟一些瑜伽师聊过天，他们说100多个口诀，但是完全没有就是用这些清理方式，但是完全没有用。
So we have a person in England, they call them the town crier.
我们有在英国，我们有这个人名字叫 Tom Cry。
So if we keep saying the deity's name and we don't have a connection, they may not be pleased.
所以如果我们不停的说神灵的名字，但是我们没有连接跟神灵的任何连接，那么神灵不会高兴的。
It'd be better to ask for his help or her help.
所以 最好是首先请求神灵的帮助。
So, as I mentioned before, some people beat on the center heart, but it's actually better to ask for that deity to awaken.
正如我之前所说，有些人去敲打我们的中心人，但是更好的方法是就简单的请求中心人的神灵帮助我们。
And like many of us, we've had wonderful experiences, but sometimes these experiences can be too good.
比如说我们很多人有很好的体验，但是有时候这些体验可能会太好。
So I'll just tell one story. When I was in one of the ashrams, I went to do my evening meditation, and I had a book with me. Was by Adi Shankaracharya.
这里我想讲一个故事，我在其中的一个 ashram，然后我拿了一本书，这本书是由 Adi Shankaracharya 写的。
Yeah, he wrote a book after he was fed up with the Brahmins, praising the mother.
他在被许多就是印度的 Brahmin，印度的 Brahmin 怎么翻
The priests,
？priest， 就
Hindu
是
priests.
OK，就是印度的牧师吧，印度教的牧师，然后他们不停的去祈祷母亲，然后阿迪香格尔查尔就被这种行为激怒了，然后他就自己写了一本书。
So this book I had, I'd read it many times, but I decided to read it how he wrote it in Sanskrit.
这本书我读了很多遍。Uncle, it's in English or Sanskrit?
No, it's got Sanskrit and English in the same book. It's been translated. When you buy the book, it's got both versions side by
Okay,
side.
so you want to translate by yourself?
No. Normally, when I was reading the book, I read the English.
Mm-hmm.
But one time I decided to read the Sanskrit.
OK，所以大叔说，通常他是读的英文的部分，但是有一次他决定去读梵文的部分。
I think it's called Sandaria Lahari.
我认为是叫 Sandaria Nahari。
Lahari,
I cannot say it very good.
Okay. No, we'll send the link.
OK，
So after starting to read the book in Sanskrit,
在我开始读这本书的梵文部分之后，
my Kundalini came up very strongly and wouldn't go down.
我的能量非常强的升起来，而且无法降下来。
So the next morning, or in a few hours, I had to go to work.
所以第二天早上就是几个小时之后，我必须要去工作。
So it was like a fountain.
感觉好像是喷泉在我头顶。
But I'm not complaining, but it came at a time that it was like not too nice, but it was just so good. I wanted it to be when I had time.
我并不是要抱怨什么，但是我希望这发生在我有时间享受的时候。
So I've told this, and it's happened since. It happened. I was playing there's a game called pool. It's like snooker, but smaller.
在我玩一个游戏叫做 pool 的游戏的时候，so you were playing this game and it's happened.
Yes, but the people I was playing with left the room.
所以这个感觉就是这个强能量出来的时候，我当时正在玩这个游戏，然后所有跟我一起玩游戏的人离开了这个房间。
So it was so strong, I had to sit down.
因为太强烈，这个能量感太强烈，我必须要坐下来。
And I was thinking, why now? Because they're going to come back in the room and say, what's wrong with you?
所以我当时在心里面想，为什么是现在？因为那些人会回到这个房间，然后会问我，你出了什么问题？
So if I recommend a book, we can find a PDF. I would suggest make sure you can do it when you have time, so you can sit there for hours.
我会给大家发这本书的 PDF 的版本，但是我建议大家读的时候，应该是在你们有时间享受这个能量的时候。
So having these experiences are nice, but sometimes they don't come when they're unexpected.
有这些体验非常的好，但是这些有时候发生的时候，不是你想要他们发生的时候。
So we don't know what the divine plans for us.
我们不知道什么是神灵是怎样为我们准备的。
Or how we sometimes get tested or blessed.
有时候我们被检验或者是祝福，就是神灵用这种方式去检验我们，也有可能是祝福我们。
So now that we've been through a few things, then I don't know what. Before we had a question and answer session, but if there's any particular things people wanted topic to touch on, maybe we could. Before I asked if there could be a survey done to find out what things people would like to know, so then I can bring the information.
Uncle, you want to do the survey now? Or?
Not necessarily. It depends if people are like bored already.
所以大叔想问你们有没有感觉到厌烦，或者是有没有自己想要大叔设计的方面可以提出来。No, I think it's great, Uncle.
Right. So depending on how your system is, sometimes we can do a lot or we can do a little. I can just tell you some, I've been doing some workshops in England, our national centre. We normally have them twice a year, June and September. We normally have about 140 people. And go on.
Before you say too much, I forget what you said.
Yeah.
So, 大叔说，根据你自己的情况，有时候我们可以多做一点，有时候可以少做一点。有一次我们做这样一个大型的活动，140个人。
But because it's new people, whatever we show them is very limited.
因为他们都是新人，所以我们可以做的事情是非常有限的。
So, for example, we show them the candle treatment, but we can't have a big candle like this. We just have, just a second.
比如说我们跟他们讲蜡烛清理法，但是我们不能拿很大的蜡烛像这个，但是我们只能拿一个很小的蜡烛。
So we get them to use a tea light, and we say, please don't catch your hair on fire.
我们让他们用这个 tea light Chinese
Yeah, these.
很小很小，对，大叔手里面拿的这种很小的，最小的蜡烛你在美国可以发现的。
But ideally, we should be using a bigger candle.
理想的话，我们应该是用比较大的蜡烛。
In England, we have a thing called health and safety.
That's a department, Uncle?
Yeah, it's like there's certain things you have to adhere to, or certain things you have to like make sure everything's okay for safety.
在英国我们有就是关于健康和安全的准则。
But with the Sajogis, people get wax everywhere also.
但是撒哈加瑜伽是因为我们用蜡烛，所以经常搞得全身都是蜡。
So depending on, so I'll just tell a story. There was a Sajogi contacted me and said he had a brain tumor.
我讲一个故事，有一个瑜伽士，告诉我他有脑肿瘤。
And he asked, could Sajoga help?
他问撒哈加瑜伽可不可以帮助他
？When Srimati was here, she used to ask the people many questions.
Uncle, I see some questions, but I will ask you after the story.
Yeah.
So could you repeat?
Right. So when Srimati used to go to the public programs, she would work on the new people, but she would ask them questions.
须玛塔吉在做活动的时候会问那些新人，会清理那些新人，但是他会问新人问题。
So I used to follow her around the room and observe.
我以前会尾随他其后，尾随在他的后面，然后观察他。
So I asked this person, who have you been speaking to lately?
我问这个Uncle is a new seeker, right?
No, it's a Sajogi.
我问其中的一个瑜伽士，你最近跟谁说话了？
And he told me he'd been going into hospital and working on some support group.
他说他最近去了医院，然后Uncle, you mean clean them? Like Sahaja treatment?
He was trying.
OK. 所以这个瑜伽师告诉他，他去医院，然后试图去帮助那些医院的一个支持医院的群体，去清理他们的精微系统。
But so I said to him, the person you're working on now, what is the problem?
我问他，你现在清理的这个人，帮助清理的这个人，他的问题是什么？
And he said, the person has a brain tumor.
他说这个人有脑肿瘤。
So in England, we have an expression which is 2 and 2. makes 4.
在英国我们有这样的语句表达，叫做2加2等于4。
So because we can all work on people, but that person was not doing Sahaja yoga.
我们可以相互清理，但是那个人他他没有练习撒哈加瑜伽。You mean the brain tumor?
The brain tumor patient,
Okay.
he was developing his own brain tumor, the
Okay.
Sahaja yogi. And as soon as he stopped going to the hospital, his brain tumor went down, the Sahaja yogi.
哦，OK，大叔说这个瑜伽士，因为他在医院里面帮助清理有一个脑肿瘤的病人，所以他开始自己长了这个脑肿瘤，但是当他停止没有再去医院之后呢，他这个脑肿瘤就开始消失了。
So sometimes we can, there's different ways of helping.
所以有时候我们有不同方式的帮助别人的方式。
Whereby you don't get affected by the other person.
这样你用一些不会影响你太大的这样的方式去帮助别人。
Anyway, he's fine now.
But 现在他没事了。
So is that questions in Chinese on the right hand side?
Yes, it's in Chinese. Let me read it. She says, I don't know if it's a he or she. So she says, there is a period of time her vibration feels very good, but feels very tired. She want to ask why it's like.
Yeah, many people get that. I went to a meeting and there was a new person and he told me he's getting insomnia. He was an eye doctor.
Insomnia. Okay, cannot
where
sleep.
You cannot sleep. So I said we have a Sahaja treatment for that.
大叔说很多人都会出现这种事情。有一次他遇到了在一次会议上遇到这个人，他说他有失眠症。然后大叔说在撒哈加瑜伽里面我们有办法去治理它。
So I told him I'm not a doctor, but you can do a technique called left to the right.
大叔说我不是一个医生，但是你可以用一个方式叫做从左边到右边。
So over the years, we've used it for high blood pressure, stress, tension, and this tiredness the person is talking about.
这些年以来，我们用这个方法用到了很多有比如像高血压、紧张病，或者是感觉到紧张，或者是就是这个瑜伽师刚刚提到的感觉到疲惫这个事情。
So in the last workshop I did, I said 80% of the people I've worked on over the years, they needed to do left to the right.
在上一个活动中，我提到在我工作的80%的人需要做提升左边降下右边这个清理方式。
So if the person wants to experiment, we can all do left to the right 7 times and see if it makes a difference.
我们可以如果大家想体验一下，我们可以一起来做提升左边，然后降下右边7次，看看有没有变化。
But before they do it, if they just put their hands out and see which hand is cooler.
在做这个之前，我们将手指向母亲的照片，然后来检查一下哪只手更凉。
So if they don't have cool on both hands, normally what I do 3 times if I'm working on a person, and then if it's better, then I say to that person, you do it to yourself 7 times and see if you feel better. See if more cool is coming.
通常如果我在给另外一个人能量的话呢，我会自己先从左边到右边做3次，然后看看我的能量流动是不是好一些。如果好一些，我就让我正在给能量的这个人让他自己做7次。
So if people in the group want to try left to the right, you take the energy from the moon channel and push down the right side, sun channel.
所以如果你想体验一下，我们提升左边的能量，然后
So after they do it 3 times, just feel if it feels cooler. If it does, do it another 4 times. If it doesn't, fine.
我们从左边到右边做3次。如果你感觉你的能量更好一点，你可以再继续做4次。如果没有感觉到更好，你没有关系。
So can you ask the person to give some feedback?
天涯海角，你感觉好一点吗？你可以在 chat 里面打字也可以，如果你不想说话的话。
Did they?
他说she said yes, she feel better.
Right. So what I do is when I'm in the meeting, I say to that person, that's your treatment for the next few weeks.
所以我当时告诉这个我正在给能量的这个人，这是你的清理方式在下面的几周内。
So I'll just explain. When I was growing up, we had a car. To start the car, you had to turn a special thing on the front of the car to start it, the engine.
我想举个例子，我小的时候家里面有一部车，这部车呢在要发动它呢，我们首先要在前面去转动一个物件吧，车上的一个物件。
But now the cars, you just go in, turn on the key, and it's called electronic ignition.
现在的车你只需要把钥匙一打开然后车子就自动启动了。
So sometimes we have to do the manual work, and then the Kundalini will take over and do it for us.
有时候我们必须要自己手动去做一些事情，然后之后呢，我们的空德尼尼就可以帮助我们去做下面的事情。
So if the head is blocked, you may have to rub it. If there's different parts of your system which is not working, sometimes we have to use our hands to raise our Kundalini rather than imagination.
所以如果你的头部有部位堵塞的话呢，你可能就需要按摩它，然后提升能量，去帮助我们身体的部分回到正常，而不是就是仅仅是去想象这个能量升起来是不够的，就是有时候需要手动去帮助自己。Uncle, there's another question. So she asked how to resolve the hiccup problem. So,
Yes.
as a hiccup, how to clear it? 你打嗝是在冥想的时候打嗝吗？还是平常就打嗝？
Okay. What we'll leave that more towards the end, because we can do a proper workshop. Most of these things you can pick up on the vibrations, what they are.
She says she mostly when she meditate, she get a hiccup.
That's what I'm saying. So what we'll do, we'll get somebody to check her vibrations, and then we'll give her some solution later on.
大叔说，我们在活动快结束的时候，然后我们可以去检查你的能量，然后给你一些建议。
So this affects a lots of. This is not to do with hiccups, but one thing I wanted to say is, since doing the workshops, I've discovered that there's a particular catch which many people have, but they don't know the answers to it.
他说这个不是打嗝的问题，这主要是你有一个catch，就是你有一个 catch，然后许多人不知道。
So I just tell a short story. One day I had to see Srimataji about somebody, and they said this Sahaja had told me that he was having a problem with his parents.
我讲一个短的故事。有一天我去见许玛塔吉，然后当时有一个瑜伽师说，他与他的父母有一些问题。
So she said, I should tell the person he can say, there's a mantra he can say.
许玛塔吉告诉我，你可以跟那个人说，有一个口诀，他可以说。
And the mantra is, Mother, you are my mother.
这个口诀是母亲，你是我的母亲。
So I told this to the person, they tried it and it worked.
我告诉了这个人，他们试了之后，确实有用。
So now that has been extended to include all relatives.
这个口诀，扩展到用到所有的亲戚身上。
So you can say it for your uncle, brother, sister, auntie, all these relatives. If there's a problem and they're affecting you, you can say, Shrimataji, you are my uncle. Mother, you are my uncle. And that will help separate and solve the problem.
所以比如说你与你的叔叔有问题，你可以就说，母亲，你是我的叔叔，这样可以帮助你解决这个问题。所以不管是你与你的哪个亲戚有问题，你就用这个口诀。
So what I discovered as well after doing the workshops is that some people have a problem with their dead ancestors.
在我做活动的时候，有时候有的人与他的某个死去的先辈有问题。
So in China, they have something in April to do with cleaning the graves.
在中国，我们4月份有清明节。
So what I've discovered is when I was doing the workshops, I discovered if somebody had a problem and their grandparents had died, it shows up on the hand here. This is my left hand. So from here to here, if I'm working on somebody and their grandmother has died and the grandmother is still worried, concerned about them, and they haven't yet left, then I feel it here. So I will ask the person and they always say yes.
在我做活动的时候，我发现如果是谁的祖父或者祖母过世了，然后这个过世的祖父祖母还是担心这个人的话呢，就会在我们右手的从小指根到我们手腕这个位置我会有感觉，然后我就会问他是不是你祖父祖母过世了，然后这个人会说是的。
So sometimes the mother, if she worries a lot, she hangs around. The grandmother.
有时候过世的祖母如果她担心她的孙子，嗯然后她就会她的灵魂就死灵就不离开，就是在附近停留。
It's very rare for the father, but the father is on the right hand here.
通常不会感觉到来自过去的过世的父辈的来自这方面的感染如果是过世的父辈过于关心自己的孙子的话呢，你会感觉到右手的这一部分，就是在我们右手的手侧这部分你会有感觉。
But it's not in the mantra book.
但是这个没有在我们的口诀书里面。
So the mantra comes in two parts.
我们的口诀书有2部分。
So if it's your mother or grandmother or any relative, you say, Mother, you are my mother, or Shrimataji, you are my mother. I'm all right. Shrimaji's looking after me.
如果是你的母亲、祖母过世，你可以说母亲，或者是妈太吉，你是我的母亲，我的祖母，我很好，不用担心我。
And that's if the person is still alive. If they've died, they've passed away, the second part of the mantra is, I'm all right. Shrimaji's looking after me. Okay, so the other part of the mantra is, please take your birth again.
Okay, Uncle, I want to clear this part.
Yeah.
So if the mother or grandma, they worry about the child too much, but they're still alive, so just say mother or Shumataji, you are my mother.
Yes.
I'm okay.
Yes.
If they died, just say,
I'm okay. I'm okay. Shumashi's looking after me.
I'm okay. Shumataji is looking after me for
if
the dead, if they dead.
No. If they're alive.
If they're alive, okay.
Yes. Because
I'm
sometimes
okay.
I'm all right. Shumashi's looking after me. If they've died and they have not left to go where they're meant to go, then use the second part of the mantra is, please take your birth again.
Okay, so add to the first part, right?
Yes.
Okay, 所以大叔说，如果是自己的母亲或者是祖母过于关心自己、担心自己，如果他们还在世，那么你可以用这个口诀，就是 mother or shimata，no，就是我很好，不用担心我，shimata ji，在关照我。如果是他们已经过世，那除了这个之外呢，你还要说，请转世投胎。
Yeah. So it's meant to be something like, Mother, you are my mother. I'm all right. Shimashi's looking after me. And then if they've passed away, then you just say, please take your birth again. So the main thing is there's two parts. One is if they're still alive, you can still say Shimashi is your mother, and that will help break the sort of too much, like sometimes it's too much love. The worry also can have an effect.
如果他们还在世，你可以说许玛塔吉，是我的母亲，这样可以打断过多的关心，有时候过多的关心、过多的爱，会成为一种伤害。
but it's not disrespectful because you still love your family members. But when they worry too much, it has an effect.
这不是不尊敬他们，你仍然爱他们，但是因为他过于关心你，会对你产生影响。
So,
Uncle, there is somebody asking, so it's on the toe side. So instead of the hand, it's on the side of the feet, on the little toe, has the hurting feeling. Is the same as the hand?
yes, on the little toe is the heart chakra.
So you were saying like if the grandpa dies, or grandma dies, you feel the hand on the side, right?
No.
So he feels on the feet of the side.
Okay, so it is what you call a one-off mantra, meaning he can try as an experiment. Is his grandmother alive or not?
所以大叔说你可以试一下看，你是不是你的祖父或者祖母过世了，然后你可以试一下刚刚大叔说的这个口诀，看看有没有效果。是不是你的祖父或者祖母过世了，或者是母亲、父亲？
Did they answer?
No, not yet.
Okay, so all these things we can experiment. So it's not you don't have to say it every day. It's just a one-off thing, and then that relative will hear you and go where they need to go.
所以这个亲戚他会听到你，然后他会听从你说的话，他会去应该去的地方。So uncle, if we say that, they will just leave, right?
Because when you're realized, we're connected, so they will understand because you say Shumachi is looking after you. So then they will then feel comforted and go.
大叔说，因为你说许玛塔吉是在关照我，然后他们会觉得受到了安慰，然后他们就会离开。Uncle, here's from the same the hiccup. I don't know, it's a yogini or yogi. So she say she has a 11 years old girl, and she say the girl doesn't think of much, but whenever she feel very good vibration, her daughter always cannot sleep. So she asking, is it because her vibration make her cannot sleep?
Very interesting. Very interesting question. If they, what should happen in England? We have workshops where we show the children how to work on the parents, and vice versa.
在英国我们会让小孩子给父母能量，然后父母给小孩子能量。
So she may have to start doing that.
他建议你可以跟你的女儿相互交换能量。让你的女儿可能是她吸了 Uncle, I think probably her daughter absorbed the energy, because I had an experience like one time we were in the yogi's house. It was super good vibration. All the kids, nobody sleep until 3 o'clock. I think my daughter only sleep 3 hours. She was totally fine. Yeah.
There you go.
所以能量很好的时候，对小孩子会他并不需要很多睡眠，不用很担心。其实这个能量可以帮助他，不需要睡眠太多。但是如果你担心的话，你可以让女儿给你能量，让她提升一下能量，让她自己的能量释放出来。但是你 不用担心，他有这个能量，睡眠是够的。
The main thing with Sahaj is to be joyful.
在撒哈迦里面最重要的事情是要有这个喜乐，感觉到喜乐。
Meaning we don't need workshops if everything is flowing.
如果一切都在，如果能量在流动的话，流通的话呢，我们并不需要这样的 workshop。
So, but sometimes we need practical solutions.
但是有时候呢，我们需要一些实际的解决方式。
So I give you an example. I was staying somewhere and a child had burnt his hand on an iron.
我举个例子我有一次有一个小孩灼伤了他的手，就是在那个电熨斗上。
So there were other people around, but because the child was screaming in pain, they just shut their door.
当时有人在旁边，但是因为这个小孩很痛，所以他大叫，所以大家都把门关上了，不想听小孩的叫声。
But when I was younger, I did a first aid course.
First aid course?
First aid, where you is a course where you learn how to treat things.
I see. Okay. 我年轻一点的时候呢，我学过就是自救法。
So I took the child and put their hand under the water, the running tap.
我把这个小孩的手放到流动的自来水下，
Then he was fine.
然后他就没事了。
So rather than just meditating, sometimes we need to do practical solutions.
所以有时候可能不仅仅就是不是，有时候我们可能不需要冥想相对于冥想来讲，可能就做一些更实际的方法更有效。
So I just mentioned that there's lots of techniques that we do, but after many years, when you ask people, what is that treatment you're doing, it's completely different to what Srimashri showed.
有时候我看大家在做那个清理方法，我会告诉他们，你做的这个清理方法与许玛塔吉讲的完全不一样。
So there's one treatment which lots of Sajogis do, which is they use ghee.
有一个清理方法许多瑜伽师就是用那个 ghee。
But in the early days, when we had ghee, there was no camphor in it.
在早期的时候，我们用 ghee 的时候呢，里面没有藏老。
So, and now the camphor, there's two types of camphor. One is chemical and one is natural.
所以现在有两种藏老，一种是有化学物质在里面，有一种是可以吃的。
So some people don't know that the chemical one is not good.
有些人不知道那个有化学物质在里面的藏老是不好的。
So if you go to India, they'll ask you, are you going to put it in food and eat it, or are you going to use it for worship?
如果你去印度的话呢，他们会问你，你是要把这个藏老放在食物里面，还是用于祭拜？
So then they will sell you the correct one.
然后他会卖给你正确的藏老。
But if you just buy the chemical one and put that up your nose, myself personally, I don't think it's good.
如果你买那种有化学物质的樟脑，然后放在 ghee 里面，我觉得个人来讲，我觉得不好。
So it's better to make your own, and then it's safer.
最好是自己做ghee 和樟脑，然后这样更安全。
So, for example, many people give them out as puja presents, the little bottle.
比如很多人会给这种 ghee 樟脑，带着樟脑的 ghee，然后发给大家作为礼物，在普济的时候。
But it doesn't. The ones they give out have no date on them.
但是他们给出的这些没有日期在上面。
So ghee is milk. If you leave milk out and it's a hot day, within a few days, it's going to go off.
ghee 是由牛奶，是从牛奶中出来的，所以如果你把它放在外面，如果是很热的夏天，你放几天它就会变质的。
So if you put camphor in it, you cannot smell that it's gone off.
如果你把樟脑放在里面，你就闻不到已经变质了。
So some people have them for maybe 1 year in their fridge.
有些人把这种放了樟脑的 ghee 放在冰箱里面放1年。
So if you're going to use that, I don't think it's going to improve the hamsa chakra.
如果你用这种的话，我不觉得会清理你的 hamsa 轮穴明散穴。
So how I know that, because somebody came to my house and they had some camphor ghee in a bottle and they were going to use it up their nose. And I said, have you felt the vibrations of it?
我是怎么知道呢？有一次有个人到我家里面，然后他们拿了这个有樟脑的 ghee 小瓶子，然后他们要用，然后呢我就问他们你有没有去检查这个能量？
But they said they got it from a good source.
他们说我们是从一个好的来源拿到的这个小瓶子。
So I asked them, how old is it? They said 1 year.
我问他们多久了？他们说1年了。
So rather than have an argument, I took off the top and I said, put your hands towards the ghee and tell me what you feel.
我没有去跟他们争吵，我让他们把那个瓶盖打开，然后把你的手朝向这个瓶子，然后告诉我你感觉到的能量是什么。
They said it was burning with bad vibrations.
他们说感觉到很热，然后很差的能量。
So I said, I don't think that's going to help you.
所以我跟他们说，这个我不认为这个会帮到你们。
So that was thrown away and we made some fresh without the camphor.
所以那个被扔掉了，然后我们自己做的ghee，然后没有用樟脑在里面。
So some treatments can change over time.
所以有一些清理方式，随着时间会变化。
So we have a very popular treatment, which is very good, which most people know. We call it lemons and chilies, but you can also use limes instead of the lemons.
所以我们有一个很好的清理方式，叫做柠檬和辣椒。你也可以用青柠。
So that helps clear the left side.
这个帮助清理我们的左脉。
As you know, and there's another treatment which a lot of people use, which is the Chimashi talks about 3 candle treatment.
另外一个经常用的 清理方法是徐马特吉说的3支蜡烛清理法。
But the proper 3 candle treatment we did was where somebody else would work on the back of your head with the candle.
一种是有人从你的背后用这个蜡烛从左边到右边，右边到左边来。
Rather than you trying to do it yourself.
Uncle, you mean for the back gear?
Yes, we used to have 2 people. One person would work behind, and when things moved about from chakra to chakra, we would chase it with the candle.
所以我们过去做的是，有一个人在你的背后，所以当我们用蜡烛去清理各个轮穴的时候呢，有人可以从你的背后去清理的后额轮。
Yes, good. So yeah. So we're coming to the end now.
我们基本上要结束了。
So what we could do next time is to, if we had some, what do you call it? We can do some survey, and then we can find out the information for people.
所以下次我们可以做的是，我们可以做一些调查，然后，我们可以得到获取大家的一些信息，大家想做什么。Uncle, there's a question, and is somebody asking, he cannot feel good vibrations, and asking how to clear that.
The ideal thing would be to get a collective, find a collective, and then that way they can help each other.
最好的办法是找到一个集体，然后大家可以相互帮助。
Because things change all the time. One day you may be fine, next day not.
因为事情经常变化，某一天你可能感觉很好，然后下一天你可能感觉不太好。So there's somebody says, Uncle, there's somebody say, when you feel the vibration, it has the difference. For example, on the index finger, if it's at the root of the index finger, it represents the collective Vishuddhi problem. But if it goes more towards the end of the tip of the index finger, it's more personal issue. Are you agree with it? Have you ever heard of it?
I hear, when you're staying in an ashram, you hear lots of things. It'd be better. The good thing is we can give bandans. So you can, if it's a collective issue, you can work on that. If it's yourself, you work on that.
So does it is the end of the index finger is more of a collective issue?
No, I hear people say these things. But
Okay.
Whatever it is, it can still be worked on.
大叔说，他有听说别人说这些，但是可能也不太确定，就是但是不管你感 感觉到什么，就是给个班单，然后可以化解一下。
So we're coming to the end now. So to end the session, if you don't mind, we can just raise our Kundalini and give ourselves a bandhan.
Uncle here has somebody asking if it's only use lemon and chili, how to, if it don't use maca, how to clear.
Oh, they can just hold it in their hands.
Both lemon and chili? Or
Yes, in the left hand, yeah.
both
fine.
lemon and chili on the left hand.
Yeah.
OK，
Fine.
大叔说你就把柠檬和辣椒放在左手，然后清理就可以。So Uncle, should they do like a right hand towards Mother Earth when they do this?
No, they can put the lemon and chili in their hand, hold it, and then just the
Open
right
right
hand
hand.
will be towards the photo.
OK， 就是用左手握住那个柠檬和辣椒，然后右手打开朝向照片就可以。
So they'll have to hold the questions to the next session.
大叔说，你可以把你的问题写下来，然后我们下一个workshop 会回答。对的，有的，我们会把这个放到 YouTube 上，然后到时候会把链接发给你们。Somebody is asking, do we have the YouTube later? We will have the YouTube.
Yeah. No, I'll send lots of links. They can click on them themselves and have a look for some of the things I've been talking about.
Great. 大叔说他会给你们发很多链接，然后你们可以自己看。然后这个 session 也会放到 YouTube 上，会有那个录下来，已经录下来了。
Okay, so if we can just collectively raise our Kundalini and give ourselves a bandhan.
所以大家我们一起来集体提升能量，画板单来结束今天的课。Uncle, you said you will send the book, right? The book you're talking.
I'll send a link for the book, yeah.
Fatima, 大叔说对，他会发那本书的链接，我到时候会发给你们。
But if their meditation is too good, don't blame me.
大叔说，如果你们的冥想太好，不要抱怨他。Thank you, Uncle.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was the best. Hope it will come soon again. Thank you so much. It was amazing.
Thank
And as
you.
always, thank you, Tingly.
Thank you, Tracy.
Jai Shri Mataji, Jyoti here. So I just joined with the Zoom link. How would I receive the resources? Do I need to share my email here?
I will send you, Jyoti.
Thank you, Tingli.
And I will send wherever I send it, I'll send to the person. I think they will send to wherever they copy the link, right?
Sure. And is there any other such workshop lined up already on the schedule?
Not yet.
Okay.
I think I will arrange with Uncle Fergy, and then we will arrange next one.
Sure. Yep. Thank you, Uncle Fergie. I really enjoyed the session and especially the stories that you shared. Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank
Uh,
you, everybody.
if you want to, yeah, how about you guys just leave your email address here, and then I can send you by email and make sure you can get it, because I don't know where you get this meeting link from. 就是你们可以把你的邮箱放在这里，然后到时候我收到那些链接的话呢，我会发给你们。
Thanks, Sumarji. Thank you, Tingli.
Thank you. Thank you, Uncle. Thank you so much. We're going to arrange the next workshop soon, Uncle. I think
Okay.
it's late. It's late for Uncle. Yeah.
Right. Yep. I'll be looking forward for the invite for the next workshop.
Great. Thank you.
And it was really beautiful, Tingli, even the morning session for the Chinese language. Thank
Oh,
you
you
for
were
doing
there?
that.
You were there
Yes, I
too?
was. And today when you were translating on each chakra, I could relate, okay, this is a chakra name.
Wow, you learned something. You learned Chinese.
Yeah.
That's great. For some reason today, I normally don't use Chinese, and somehow today it's morning Chinese, evening Chinese. Thank you all. If you need to leave, you can leave. I'm gonna have to get all the email before I leave.
Thank you so much. Jai Shri Mataji.
Thank you, Jai Shri Mataji.
Thank you, Tingli.
Thank you, Ovil. Oh, great, you're here.
Yeah.
How you enjoy it?
Yes, I really do. It's a lot of new knowledge, you know.
Yes, because Uncle he was with Shri Mataji, so it's great to hear all the things and stories.
Yes, yes, yes. Looking forward for the next one.
Yes, I'm looking forward too.
Yeah.
Thank you all for joining.
Okay, thanks. Have a good evening.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye. Yeah.